At Pulse Telesystems, a company founded by his father, Mr. Gopalapillai, where he serves as a second generation leader. With his tenure at the company beginning in 2016, Hiroshan has spent the past 7 years diligently diversifying Pulse's portfolio of services. Hiroshan's commitment to identifying and harnessing the synergies between telecommunications and software has enabled Pulse to offer comprehensive end-to-end solution to its clients. Can we hear a huge round of applause for Mr. Hiroshan?
Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible to you all. Good afternoon, everyone. So, Pulse is the company, and we're actually a telecom service provider. So, it's quite an old company. You would have heard the introduction. So, it's quite an old company. So, we started off by actually, providing international calling services. That was when VoIP was legalized in India. This is the time between 2002 and 2003, and we were one of the first companies that, proposed unlimited calling schemes to the US, UK, Australia, and various other countries. And eventually, we started providing calling minutes across the globe, and this is how the company actually started off. And the first, thing that we were introduced to was actually the B2C market, or there's just the consumer market, where we opened telephone booths. We found places where international calling was prevalent. For example, Pondicherry, we would have a lot of people calling France. So that's how it actually started off. But very quickly we understood that enterprise is the segment that has to be serviced, and ever since we've been an enterprise-oriented player, and we jumped into the enterprise market very soon. So we started servicing a lot of the US calling call centers and eventually all the other call centers as well. So this is how Pulse was incepted. And going forward, in 2007, we started laying our own infrastructure to provide services like internet for our customers. And because enterprise kind of got into our DNA, we only started providing leased line connections, and we became very strong on the internet space. We started laying our own fiber cables, and infrastructure kept growing. And today we directly peer and connect with international players where we don't go through players like Airtel or Tata. We directly connect with international submarine cable systems as well. So this is a small introduction of Pulse. And after that, we actually wanted to do something more on the telephony space, because when you talk about telecommunication provider, generally what we do is we provide telephone minutes, and then after that we leave it to the client to kind of work on the Avaya systems that they need, the Cisco call manager, and the various platforms required. And without these platforms, our minutes don't make sense. So for that reason, we actually built a platform itself. We've been doing this for the past 7 years. So we've been investing a lot of our time and effort in building a software, contact center software, which would help our clients use our minutes, or today even somebody else's minutes, to make calls and engage with their clients in the best possible manner. So we started diversifying offerings. So as I said, contact center, then these are the certain services that we provide. So we talk about contact center, domestic SIP trunks. So for example, if you want a Bangalore number, we could provide it to you. If you want something international, that also can be provided. And you would also come across certain things called virtual numbers, number masking, that many of the platform providers will be utilizing today. Platforms like Ola, Swiggy, you name it. It could be even matrimony.com. End of the day, they're all platform providers. So they use something called number masking for privacy and also for their business continuity. So these are the various things we're doing today. I'll cover most of it in the coming slides. All right, so just over here, we want to differentiate what comes under telecom, what comes under software, or your contact center part of it. So on the telecom point of view, we deal with SIP trunks. So SIP trunks, you will all be aware of. And then we're talking about PRI, which is the slightly older technology, but many of us still are using the PRI technology right now also. And then we have cloud virtual mobile numbers. So today, if you talk about the banking segment or a lot of the domestic calling call centers, they look for mobile virtual numbers because that gives them the better connectivity, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And for example, if you have your own infrastructure, number portability is a problem, then we integrate with the infra that you have today. And on a software point of view, it's a contact center application. Again, everyone knows everything over here. All of you are from the BPO. So when you talk about WebRTC, soft phone, mobile apps, what is required, we'll be able to provide you. Yeah. So again, these are key features that I think any contact center requires, mainly because we've all evolved from a call center to contact center. Non-voice seems to be cheaper, and also sometimes that's what even the customer wants at certain cases, and we've built all that together. So again, so you have all your basic features that you would require, and I believe these are must-haves in any call center. So you will have to customize your call center to meet your call center requirement. So no two call centers are the same. They could be from the same industry. Let's say you're working on the RCM business, revenue cycle management. You could be in the recruitment business. You could be in the insurance or the banking side. But every organization themselves has their own DNA and their own requirement, which kind of, it requires your own thought process, and how you want your call center to behave is how it has to be enabled for the client. So that's what we believe, and we believe that every contact center has to be different. And Pulse, as a company, we believe that we have to go the extra mile to ensure that you've met your contact center requirement. Okay. So over here you see about SMS and email features. So as I told about a contact center application, you would be talking about SMS, email as well. And I'll just move on to WhatsApp. So if you notice, many of the contact centers, mainly in the domestic space, because if you take the US contact centers, they are still happy with your 10DLC SMS options. But when you talk about the Indian contact center space, everyone's on WhatsApp, right? So let's say we're talking about a real estate company over here, or let's say you're from an automobile company, and let's say you have a contact center running. So post-call, you might want to have an engagement with that person. So that might not be possible. Like, let's say you're doing an outbound calling, post-call, if you can send them an automatic WhatsApp message with a brochure that you're actually talking about, or something like that, that actually has a lot of recall value. So in the future, if they want to contact you back, it's going to be a little easier to do it. And we also have a WhatsApp queuing mechanism that can integrate with your overall call center. So it will be a WhatsApp call center facility. Yeah? All right. Okay, so I've been rushing pretty fast. Now, coming to how many of you are utilizing WebRTC today in your contact centers? All right. So when you talk about a contact center per se, you will have to have a phone system, because calling is one of the important channels. So when you talk about a phone, then it's going to be either a mobile phone in your hand, or it's going to be an IP phone or a soft phone. And you also have web phones today, which is empowered by this technology called WebRTC. So WebRTC, what it does for you is there's zero configurations. So if you're an organization with 100 people plus, so for instance, 100 people plus, you don't want your IT team to go around configuring soft phones for them, or configuring something for them. Let's say the system goes down, or let's say you're moving them from one floor to the other. You want it to be automatic for them. They should just be able to log into the browser, start making calls. They shouldn't have to install a software onto their system. So one of the things that I think call centers should do today is adopt WebRTC for your soft phone requirements, because if you don't need a hard phone, then WebRTC could be an amazing tool for you. And one more thing about WebRTC, it's also completely encrypted calling. WebRTC supports only encrypted calling, so that's also one thing for you to notice. Right. So virtual numbers and number masking, again, I kind of covered it in the previous slides. It's again for, platform providers. Zomato or an Ola would be an example for that. So again, it's for the privacy requirements. You would be requiring virtual number and number masking facilities. Today, it's for any kind of a platform. Let's say a platform like OLX, or uh, let's say somebody wants to have a food application where there's a seller and a buyer. Then all these applications utilize virtual numbers for running their business itself, for their business continuity. So everyone's spoken about AI. So I've been just covering everything on the contact center space. So on an AI point of view, something that you can easily start off with is sentiment analysis, because sentiment analysis could be something uh, which is common across verticals. So for instance, let's say you're from any vertical, other features behind AI has to be customized, very focused to your use case, to your organization. Well, sentiment analysis will be something which is easy to get. You could easily onboard AI like that. So that's why sentiment analysis is something we wanted to put out here to onboard quicker. And later, I would say putting down the call center together is the first thing and can be done very quickly, and AI would follow and building it in a better way. Yeah, so all the other points: quality assessment, interactive voice bots, transcription in all languages, I think are very common points on AI, and we've all covered that. All right. So when you talk about larger organizations, Microsoft Teams is something which is in use everywhere. So whenever I talk to an organization with 1,000 users plus, I believe they are already on Microsoft Teams. And there is a facility called Microsoft Teams Direct Routing, which I know that many of you are using today, and also people are seeking to use it today as well. So the reason is, you could have a single application to run your telephone calls as well. Let's assume, calls coming to your phone desk, wherever in your office space. It can get routed to your app itself. Or your app itself or your Microsoft Teams platform works as a PBX to kind of manage your complete calling requirement. So it works very different to all other integrations because Microsoft Teams itself is a PBX platform, right? So if you want anything to do with direct routing, we have a stall here, and we could discuss in detail as to what your requirement is, what are the global countries that you're calling, India and other countries, and how do we get to routing the whole thing. Yeah. Right. So as I spoke about internet leased lines and connecting internationally, we are talking about different technologies like ILD, MPLS, IPLC, and so on and so forth, while we also have Cloud Direct Connect services available. So for instance, let's assume you're running a contact center, which could be on Pulse, it could be running on any other platform as well, as in the contact center software piece. But you could have hosted it on, let's say, AWS, Oracle, Google Cloud, or Azure Cloud. So these are the prevalent ones. And we have direct connect services with all of these players. So what kind of happens is we will be able to make you connect with the cloud privately, locally. So again, the traffic between your office and the cloud where your contact center is will be a private network. So you move to the cloud, but you're still private. So that's the benefit of having a cloud direct connect service. All right. So secure calling. So secure calling is, I think, a big requirement in many of the verticals. So for example, if you take the RCM business, the medical billing business, HIPAA is an important regulation out there. And then when you talk about banking, credit cards, and so on, you have PCI DSS and so on and so forth. So calling security is very, very important. So are the calls actually encrypted? So that is the first thing which comes up when we have our technical discussions with clients as well. So that is, an important point that you look into when you, decide your contact center service provider. Right? And again, one more thing that we talk about is the call recording files. How do you manage them, maintain them, and how does it move from your cloud servers to the storage, and while you retrieve it, how are the keys managed, and so on and so forth. So this kind of ensures that your platform is secure and so on. And one slide which is not there is on something called SSO, single sign-on. So we have integration with AD as well. So if you want, users can log in through your AD logins and then get into the call center user login. So as we've been servicing, the telecom space for more than a decade now, almost 2 decades, we've, kind of understood that, every vertical has its own personal requirement. And so we've, custom built our solution for that. So for example, a recruitment organization will need something where, they're calling many countries, many people, they wouldn't want to get into spam. The same thing if you take healthcare organization, their requirement could be different. They would be dealing with a lot of hold times. The insurance companies could put them on hold. So every single industry over here has its own pain points, has its own requirements. So that is something we kind of understand, and we have customized solutions for all these verticals out here. And we believe that integrations are very key for any kind of solution that the customer requires. So there is no single provider that will be able to give you everything. So as a thought leader, or as a person who's running your BPO on a technical front, you will be having a vision saying, I want to use this CRM. So let's say you're running a help desk solution. So you might want to integrate with a platform called ServiceNow. So let's say you're a large organization, mainly into sales, you might want to integrate with Salesforce. So somebody might want to integrate with Zoho's ticketing platform. So a startup might want to work with Zoho Begin. So what we've done over here is we've made sure that anything that happens in Pulse is integrated with the CRM platform also. So Pulse does come with a very basic CRM, but we tell our clients, you decide what you want, how you want it to be, and then we integrate with the flow of the customer's requirement. So coming back to the topic where we started, the whole topic is every customer has to have his own customized, contact center product that he is utilizing. So coming back to that, what we do is we give all the building blocks to the customer, which is the BPO. So either you could go with a ready solution that we will be able to provide you with integrating with any CRM that you require. So that is one thing. Second thing is you could build your own contact center application. You could have a web application. You just need the calling facility to be inserted. So I can give you WebRTC APIs where you can just add on to your platform and then make your web application work as a contact center application. So the whole goal is to allow the BPO to kind of tailor make and get their character out onto the contact center and make sure they will be able to translate it into the productivity that they want expecting from their agents. So this is what we is from our side. So it could be voice trunks, which are for international domestic calling. It could be WebRTC phones, WhatsApp APIs for you to build your own bots, IVR flow builders, automation schedulers, and also any kind of machine learning APIs from our end as well. Right? So again, I would leave you with the thought that you would need a customized contact center for your organization. Many of the things covered in these slides are very simple and straightforward, but there are places where we've not integrated as well. So you could take this as a reminder to go back and work with your contact center vendor and integrate all the missing pieces and get a very custom built contact center for your requirement. Thank you.